All right, we are back at it. We are doing our final show. This is episode 11, and we are hitting up the 4A Desert Sky. This is the last one we're going to do, and this is actually our final one also in Pinal County as well. So we're finishing off with Pinal County,
Yes,
which is
sir.
going to be one of my guy, Daniel, over here. His schools or his regions actually to cover up. Once again, it is I, Chris from SoAZ, Rodney from Game Time RC, as well as my guy, as I was mentioning, Daniel from Varsity Breakdown, all the way over to the side. Um, we're going to go ahead and talk about real quick our region. Go ahead, Daniel, run it through like you normally do.
All right, we're going to start things off with Arcadia, who had a perfect season, regular season, going 10-0, 5-0 in the region. AZ College Prep went 7-3, finished 4-1 in the region. Combs went 2-8 and 1-4 in the region. Desert Sunrise finished 1-9 and 0-5 in the region. Mesquite finished 5-5 and 3-2 in the region. And running things at the end is Vista Grande, who finished 7-3 and 2-3 in the region. And if you look at it, Arcadia and Arizona College Prep were the representatives of the 4A Desert Sky for the playoffs. And we'll see if things play out this way. I'm kind of expecting a little bit of changes here this year.
And like what we always do, we compare it to what we do is we look at last season's max preps, compare to where we feel things are going to go this season. Will they stay the same? Will they get better or worse, depending on our points of views? So last year, max preps, Arcadia ended at 36, Arizona College Prep ended at 45, Combs ended at 143, Desert Sunrise came in at 187, Mesquite came at 75, and Vista Grande ended up here at 85th. So those are the rankings where we're going to kind of compare, and you'll hear Rodney and Daniel also say the teams that they're going to be playing, what their rankings are as they go down the schedules as well. So
Absolutely.
what are you guys excited for on this one? I mean, the one thing I do see is I do see that obviously, like you had mentioned, Daniel, that there was two teams that made it off to the playoffs last season. Could there be a
Mhm.
third? Becomes a good, interesting question for possibly this year, or will we go down to one? So, or none. I don't see that
Yeah.
thing happening.
No, I think at least 2 to 3 this year.
Right.
All depends on how that region finishes up. Because I think if you look at it last year, Mesquite they finished
Mhm.
5-5, but they kind of messed things up, especially for a team like Vista Grande, where they beat Vista Grande and kind of that was the end of their season. That they were, I think, 17th, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere right around there on the
Oh, okay.
edge of making the playoffs. And that extra loss in region play kind of impacted everything. So
So do you?
interested to see who's gonna switch
So
things up.
sorry about that. So do you feel that number 3 and number 4 seating in their standings kind of like could be a deterrent, like right on the fence again?
Oh
For
yeah,
yeah.
Mhm.
So we're gonna
yeah,
get into it.
definitely. Because we could start off with our first team, but I definitely think 3 and 4. I'd say 3 teams, and Rodney, go ahead and take it that first one.
You know what? Let's take it with Arcadia, just like what you guys said, went undefeated last year in the regular season. Again, Max Preps has them 36 ranked. Their first game is a home game against Glendale, who's ranked 94. Another home game against Walden Grove down there in Tucson, who's ranked 61. And then their first away game is going to be at Benjamin Franklin, who's ranked 93. And then at Coconino, who's ranked 64. And then back home is going to be Camelback, who's ranked 98. And then they have an away game at Desert Sunrise, who's ranked 182 before they hit the bye week. And then they have at Mesquite on a Thursday. And then home game, Combs, who's ranked 143. And then at Vista Grande, who's ranked 85. And then their last regular season game is going to be a home game, Arizona College Prep. Max Preps has them going 10-0. I know Chris and I has them going 10-0, and Daniel has them going 9-1. Hey, I think they're gonna go 10-0 again. I'm just gonna put it out there. Great team. They got some key components coming back. Arcadia, 10-0. Make me and Chris look good. Thank you. That's it.
Go ahead,
Daniel,
Chris.
let me ask you this, if you could,
Mhm.
man. Can you kind of recap who are some of the players that are coming
Mhm.
back next season? That's
Oh
going to
yeah, you got to start off right there on the offensive end. Under center, they got Braylon Rooney
Mhm.
coming back, a 6'5", 200-pound quarterback, so a big guy. Threw for over 1,900 yards last year. He was also the second leading rusher on the team, and then you got Joe Hoos, who was their third leading back. And then on the defensive end, they're bringing back their leading tackler in Pablo Havalera.
Mhm.
So they are losing their number one running back in Brady Forrest and all three of their top receivers. So I think when you look at a team like Arcadia, a lot of it, came on the ground, but at the same time, they're they're a two-dimensional team. They can definitely throw the ball as well. So I think this year they're going to rely a lot on Rooney under center to put up a lot of points for Arcadia.
now you got them losing one game. Who you got them losing to?
So for me, you'll see why at the end when we get to this team, but I have them losing to Vista Grande, and the only reason being is that I think Vista Grande's defense can help disrupt that high-powered offense of Arcadia, especially if Atheon Errol is healthy. He is so quick off the football, off the edge. I think that he's going to put some pressure on the quarterbacks. That's going to allow Vista Grande's defense to contain Rooney under center.
Mm. You know what? Let me jump in real quick because I'm looking at this 10-0 record, right? And it's hard to go 10-0, right? In high
Mhm.
school. Let's be honest, NFL, wherever, sport. So I'm looking at this record, or not this record, but this schedule. I'm gonna pick one team that could possibly beat them. Is their third week at Benjamin Franklin. Um, listen. I know. Listen, Benjamin Franklin has a good running back in Ridge Allen. Typically, Benjamin Franklin has some good kids there. So don't be shocked. And you know how I feel about at home, right?
Mhm.
It's there at Benjamin Franklin. So I'm just saying, you know, upset alert. Benjamin
And,
Franklin beat Arcadia.
and I think the way that if they do upset Arcadia,
Hmm.
it's going to have to be controlling the clock.
Yeah,
With that wing T offense that they run, if they can run that to a T and control the clock, it's definitely going to be hard for Arcadia to gain any momentum to be able to score.
yeah. But
And
we'll
if you
see.
look
I mean,
at last year, it was a 31-14 game. So
yeah.
that was the final from last year.
You know what? I'd be interested is watch the Walden Grove game. I
Okay.
mean, it was the
Okay.
only game that was actually close for him last season,
Hmm.
and I'd be
Mm,
curious to see what happens on that.
okay.
So just kind of keep that one in the back thoughts of your mind as well.
Mm,
And if anything, maybe they got to look at some film against Yuma Catholic because that was where their only loss came from in the playoffs, and Yuma Catholic beat them 42-7. So definitely might have to watch some film on that game just to see how they were able to contain that offense because that offense can move the ball for sure.
absolutely. So hey, 10-0, 9-1. Hey, season's gonna be here. What next week for them?
Hmm.
Next Friday. Let's get it.
Let's see here. And getting over into the next one here, let's talk about AZ College Prep. So,
All right,
Danny, go ahead. And run that
for AZ College Prep, they're ranked 45th. They're going to be on the road for the first two games. The first game is going to be against Crown Point, all the way out in Indiana. So that's going to be an interesting one there. Then they'll be playing at Apache Junction, who is 121. Three straight home games against Estrella Foothills, who's 110. Eastmark, who's 28th. Yuma Catholic, who's 20. And then a Thursday night matchup at Vista Grande, who is 85th. After their bye, they're at home against Combs, who's 143. And then three straight road games at Desert Sunrise, who's 182. At Mesquite, who's 75. And wrap up at Arcadia, who's ranked 36. And AZ College Prep, Max Preps has them going 6-3 in the state of Arizona, of course, with that toss-up game against Crown Point. So Chris, you have them going 9-1, Rodney 6-4, and myself, I have them going 4-6. So, Chris, why don't we start
Man,
with you on this one? What are you seeing from AZ College Prep that you have them going 9-1 this year?
I just, for me, I just think they got a solid return, right?
okay.
Let's see here, just like the solid return. What I saw is obviously the quarterback coming back, 1,841 yards passing. He's got two of these top rushing rushers coming back as well as the um, two top wide receivers coming back as well. I mean, his offensive arsenal is there. It seems like they distribute the ball both on, I mean, running and also passing quite well for two dimension. I also think pretty much the rest of the divisions kind of lost a lot of stuff from what I was looking at as well when I went back and I was checking out their schedule. Um, the rest of it just didn't impress me that much. I think you have Yuma Catholic obviously in there. There's my loss for them, but for the rest of it, I just don't think that I think they're better than it. So hands down, go AZ.
You know what? I mean, I see where you're headed, Chris, because they do have a lot coming back, right? Like what you said, the quarterback, two out of three of the running backs, and the wide receivers, and things like that. They do have a new coach.
Mhm.
I know that their old coach is over at ALA Ironwood. So again, like we don't know what they're going to do over there at Arizona College Prep, and that's why I have them going 6-4 with their first three wins or first 3 weeks winning, and then obviously them losing against East Smart, where you guys have them winning, but then also I have them losing against Vista Grande, and also the last game with Arcadia. I mean, at the end of the day, again, I just want to see what they do. They do have a quarterback, so me. Anytime you get a quarterback, that can throw, and then they have a running game behind them, good things can happen. So
You know what?
6-4 for me.
I have to actually make a correction here
Uh-oh,
because I have Arcadia at
I
going
forgot.
10-0.
Right,
So
you
yeah,
going
so
So
I
eight and
I
two
made a
then, huh?
mistake on that. So yeah, I got him at 8-2 here.
okay? So 8-2, 6-4,
Still
and
better than
then
the rest of these
Daniel.
guys. Still
Yeah,
better than the
right.
rest of these guys over here.
Listen,
So
whatever, whatever. Daniel, so you got them going 4-6. Talk to us a little
Mhm.
bit about that.
So if you look at AZ College Prep, they have the toughest schedule in this region.
Yeah.
Looking up a little bit about Crown Point out in Indiana, I think that that's going to be a game where they're traveling, pretty far. I don't know when they're going to be showing up for that game on what day, but I'm going to go with the home team on that one. Then if you look at the rest of it, yes, I do have them beating Eastmark. That was only a 1 point game that they lost last year. But then, taking on Yuma Catholic, they kept that one pretty close, 22-17. I think
Mhm.
Yuma Catholic's going to come in strong again. And then, of course, I think Vista Grande, even though it was a 22-6 victory for AZ College Prep, I'm going to talk about that defense again for Vista Grande. I'm really liking what they have. And then, of course, the game against Arcadia, where Arcadia shut them out last year, 27-0. So it's definitely, when you look at it, it's definitely. Wait, did I do mine wrong too? I think sorry,
Right.
yeah, it shouldn't have been 4-6. It was 6-4. Sorry. So those are my four losses. So I'm in agreement with
oh,
you, Rodney, where I have
6-4.
them going 6-4. Yeah, it was
You
a
fixed it.
typo.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Let's go. See what
But
happens. The power of Rodney comes over Daniel, and now he's teaming up with me. See, boom, let's go.
See, I
but
think
yeah,
I
I
think the
think.
cool things is on this schedule though, guys, is that when you look at this schedule last year and
Mhm,
how the games were, there were four close games, which could be really
Mhm.
interesting. Obviously, we know that Max Preps has got them 6-3, and then obviously the question mark because we don't know about Crown Point. I'll
mhm.
always go win for a home team. That's just, I mean, Arizona. But I think
Yeah.
where you got to look at some of these exciting games will be Estrella Foothills, Eastmark, Yuma Catholic, as well as Mesquite. Those were all close, good games. I think you all can agree with me on that. That
Mhm.
like we'll see how it goes, and it's funny that you both got like the loss to Vista Grande, where that wasn't even one of the closer games. So you guys have a lot coming up here on this Vista Grande squad. So we'll
for
see what's
sure.
going on here. We're already
Hey,
making mistakes, though. I think it's funny.
listen, I don't make mistakes, bruh. No,
Corrections. Corrections.
Correction.
right? Corrections. Okay. So
Huh.
now we got what? We got Combs.
Yeah.
Combs will be the next one. Yeah.
Hey, right down the street from me. I love it. So listen, so now we have Combs. Combs comes in ranked 143. Their first game is an away game at Catalina Foothills. So they got to travel to good old the neck of the woods with Chris, who's ranked 83rd. Then their next game is going to be a home game on a Thursday against Eastmark, who's ranked 28. Then they're at Coolidge, right down or close by actually me, ranked 107, and then home game Maryville, who's 184, and then you got good old Prescott at Prescott, 92. Okay, and then they have a home game Mesquite, 75th. Then they have a bye game, and then they're at Arizona College Prep, who's ranked 40, at Arcadia, who's ranked 36. And then their last two games, they're going to wrap up the season home games. Desert Sunrise, who's ranked 182, and then Vista Grande, who's ranked 85. Again, Max Preps has them going 2-8. Daniel has them going 2-8. While I'm stuck in the middle at 3-7, and then Chris comes in on top 4-6. There's no difference. 2-8 and 4-6 is literally the same thing. Like what?
What are you talking
Oh,
about?
They finished
Two
2-8 last year.
right.
2-8 is a subpar bottom half of it all. What are you talking about? 4-6 is a world of difference. What are you talking about?
You know what? I'm done. I'm done. Talk about
What?
your 4-6 with wins over Catalina Foothills. Wow.
Good. I think last season, that it was a close game. And
Hmm.
mind you, I think we got to talk about with Catalina Foothills. They had Sammy Delgado that first
Hmm.
game. He was killing it. I think there's been a lot of changes, obviously, over at Catalina Foothills, Mister 0-10. If you go back and watch that show, Rodney. Um,
Wow.
so let it be known.
Let it be known. Okay.
And then
0
I
and
and
10.
then I
Prove
think
me
this,
wrong.
hey, then I think this, I think I'm gonna give give them a win over Coolidge. Heck yeah, I'm taking it. Yeah, I've been chastised on my post on that one. Um,
Yeah.
Maryville, give me that W. And then Desert Sunrise, give me just look, I've already doubled up the wins from last year. We've doubled up what the wins that Max Preps is gonna give. Go ahead, say what you want. Give me some freaking combs. We're going the right direction.
Wow.
Yeah, for me, I don't see it going that way, and it's
Nobody
just
has.
because of mostly this region that they play in.
Hmm.
They were bit by the injury bug a lot last year, especially early on. I want to say they had at least 5 or 6 seniors that were hurt throughout the duration of last year. So a fairly young team coming back. They had Cannon Hill. He started as a freshman last year. He'll be we'll be seeing who is going to take over that quarterback spot. But Cannon Hill led the way last year. Isaac Jeffcoat, their leading rusher, and also their number 3 leading receiver. Nathan Alvarez, number 2 receiver, and then on the defensive end, they have Levi Anglin and Branson Moak. Just for me, as far as Combs goes, they're a fairly young team coming into this year. I don't know what they're going to do as far as I think now with all those schools in that Santan Valley area, it's tough to get players to come and buy into your program when you have a Poston Butte nearby, when you have a Florence, and now with Chrisman and ALA Ironwood right in the mix of things, you got to have an established program in order for kids to either want to play for your program or to come over and transfer to play for your program. I just think after a couple years ago, they were a team that was very good, talked about a lot as turning into a powerhouse, but it was kind of like Santan Foothills was a couple years ago. It was just that one and done kind of year.
Hmm.
And so I think this year they're going to run into some of the same troubles. The only wins I have them getting is again against Maryville and Desert Sunrise. Everybody else, maybe the Coolidge game. I'll leave that as a toss up there because of how young Coolidge is. but
Mhm.
at the same time, I don't see where they're going to pick up another victory, and that's just my take on it.
Whew, listen, and you listen. You're right, Daniel. As far as where they are, like they're out by me. I mean, you have the Poston Butte, you have the ALA Ironwood, you have the Chrisman, and the funny thing about it is, I used to coach at Combs like 5 years ago, and it was
Mhm.
tough. You know what I mean? Because I mean, there were some times where we would only have like 20 kids come to practice, and it is what it is. You know, so when you have other schools around you that are new or that are building a foundation or that are winning, because let's be honest, people want to go play for a winning team, you start
Mhm.
to lose different players, you know. So that's why I have them in the middle. I mean, Catalina Foothills, you guys already know, shame me if you want. I got Catalina Foothills going 0-10, right? I believe that, you know, Combs can beat a Maryville. I believe that they can beat a Desert Sunrise. But besides that, that's it, you know. So, you
Mhm.
know, I have them going 3-7, and you know, prove me wrong.
Same here. I had them going 2-8. So,
Right,
but you know
no,
what? If they do pick up that first win against Catalina and like I said, I'll leave that Coolidge one open for debate because I'm interested to see what Coolidge does
Homer,
as
right,
well this year.
Homer,
right.
But then
Ho-
we'll have to be over
Homer,
there laughing. Chris is gonna be laughing at us if they go
Homer,
4-6.
Homer. All right, who's
Oh man.
Desert
Well,
Sunrise?
we next up we have Desert Sunrise,
Homer.
who is out there in Maricopa. They're going to be coming in ranked at 182. They'll open up at home against Rio Rico, then quickly have a bye, turn around, play a home game against Copper Canyon, who is 192. Then they're at Flagstaff, who is 160. Back-to-back home games against Vista Grande, who's 85th, Arcadia, who's 36. Back-to-back road games against Eastmark, who is 28th, and Alhambra, who is 195. They're home against Arizona College Prep, who is 45th, at Combs, who's 143, and then finish up at home against Mesquite, who is 75. And Max Preps has them going 2-8 this year, and we are all kind of in agreement on that one. With Desert Sunrise actually having the same record, I believe, or actually, it's a game improvement from last year as they finished 1-9. But we have them beating Copper Canyon and Alhambra. Anybody
Yeah.
want to start with Desert Sunrise?
Is Coach Shank gonna hate us? You know,
Yeah,
gee,
probably.
he's
Listen.
rolling around right now, going like, I should have never befriend those guys. Unanimously, we go after Copper Canyon. I mean, unfortunately, this is the only game that was kind of close in the grass for Desert Sunrise last year.
Mhm.
Granted, like Desert Sunrise is pretty much getting everybody back. I don't think they're losing anybody. You guys can confirm me on that. Um,
Correct.
but I just don't think there's anybody else in here like to even grab. Like, what are you going to do? Maybe look at like a Combs, maybe, or a Rio Rico. I really don't think they're in the grass for them. Like Flagstaff, same situation. There's really nothing else in near. Honestly, to tell you the truth, I think Desert Sunrise should have came in somewhere in a 3A football.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. Um, but I mean, you guys tell me if you see something different. Obviously, we all went 2-8 on this. So anybody else got a different view?
You know what? I got a question for both of y'all.
Yeah, go
If
ahead.
you had to pick a game that they could potentially, okay, quote unquote, potentially win, where could you see it?
Um, I'll go first. I'm gonna say the Combs game.
Okay.
Both teams pretty young. And then I'll throw Rio Rico in there. First game. I'll go with the Rodney first game. Mistakes, everything like that. It could
Right.
happen, but I'd say the one that probably has the best chance would be the game against Combs.
See, and I would actually, I don't know. I might argue with you because once again, I like the fact that Combs got some kids returning. I mean, unfortunately, I'd probably lean more towards Rio Rico in this situation. Uh, and if you look even at ranking purposes, you'd lean more towards Rio Rico on this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because after all, with Rio Rico, they lost a lot of kids. They got a new
Mm-hmm.
coaching staff over there. Not saying that I don't think this will happen, but I mean, if I were to circle a team, honestly, the only one that's kind of in the shadows of possibly being that situation, and I don't even know what was this? Do you guys know the score from last year? I don't even.
For
Right.
Rio Rico or?
Oh, they didn't play each
They
other.
didn't play them.
They
No,
didn't
they
play.
Oh,
started
man.
off against
So that
Glendale.
could be another reason why I actually like that too, because these two
Okay.
teams didn't match last year. We
Mhm.
know what the other teams did.
Mhm.
I'm still comfortable with my Combs getting this W right here.
Okay. Okay. Hey,
Um,
listen, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, it's. I think I would go either Combs or Rio Rico, but like you said, Daniel, I go for the first game. Right,
mhm.
first game jitters. Rio Rico might, I don't know, come out flat because they, or hey, things can happen. But again, I was just asking, like, hey,
Yeah. No, and it's a home game too.
and so
You
now
know.
that's a double whammy. You got the Rodney special and a home game. You know
Mhm.
what? Desert Sunrise. Let's
But
go. First win, Rio Rico.
no, but definitely, when you look at this team, they have nowhere to go but up on both the
Mhm.
offensive side, defensive side, cleaning things up. I mean, unfortunately, you see how much points they gave up on the defensive side, but
Mhm.
I think mostly it was because of the lack of production on the offensive end. The defense was having to be out there quite a bit because, they got Zamari McCoy Denton, a linebacker, had 104 tackles, and I want to say he had double digit tackles for loss and like 7 or 8 sacks. Then Jaziel uh, Damarini Dominguez, I believe is how you say. He led the team with 122 tackles. The interesting position I want to kind of get more information about is at the quarterback position. You had Mike Wallace, who started the first half of the season. He was the leading passer with 448 yards, but you also had Vinny Sanchez. He was a transfer from Sequoia Pathway, who sat out his first 5 games. He ended up being number 2 in the running back category. So it's going to be a little quarterback battle right there. So I'm interested to see what Desert Sunrise does at that position and who's going to be leading the offense for the Golden Hawks.
Sorry, Shanks.
Yeah, no, we definitely got to go.
Interesting.
Yeah, Desert Sunrise. And you know what? They're in an interesting position though, because we spoke about Maricopa and how they're starting to trend into the right direction. Then you have Sequoia Pathway and Coach Payne. Is he going to be able to pull some players away from any of these schools and get Sequoia Pathway back on the track that we knew them just a couple years ago? So that's the only thing with 3 high schools
Mhm.
in that area. I definitely would agree with you, Chris. I think Desert Sunrise might be a team to eventually move down a division just to be a little bit more competitive.
Gotcha. Right on. So
Yeah.
next thing we got is Mesquite. Who's got this one?
That'd be you,
Let's
Rodney.
go. So we have good old Mesquite. Again, Max Preps has them ranked 75. First away game is against Mingus Union, who's ranked 124. Then their first home game is Micah Mount, okay, who's ranked 23rd. And then they're at Eastmark, who's ranked 28. And then they have a home game against Gilbert, who's ranked 99. And then their next 2 games before the bye are going to be away. They're at Maricopa, who's ranked 130th. They're at Combs, who's ranked 143. And like what I said, quick, easy buy. And then they end, not end, but the last 4 games are going to be Arcadia home game on a Thursday, 36. Home game, Vista Grande, 85. And then Arizona College Prep home game, who's ranked 45th. And they're going to wrap up their regular season at Desert Sunrise, who's ranked 182. Max Prep has them going 6-4. Rodney, believe in Mesquite, other than these other 2 knuckleheads, because I know Daniel has them going. Daniel has them going 5-4, and then Chris has them going. Who? Chris can talk about that later. 3-7. Chris, 3-7.
Don't judge me.
Disrespect. Listen, disrespectful. Talk
Disrespect.
about it, Chris.
Look, first of all, I
Disrespectful.
mean, I think Mesquite lost a lot of players. The other thing here, some of my losses are coming by games that were close last season, such as the
Okay.
Mingus Union. I think Mingus Union might have an upper hand here, even though they were probably one of the biggest gapped out rankings that we had mentioned, them coming in at
Mhm.
124. I just feel that there's something there about Mingus Union that I don't know. Gilbert, when we talk about them, that was another close game, real close in rankings as well. Give me Gilbert over Mesquite in this situation. Another one here was AZ College Prep. We've already talked about them earlier in their segment. I think that they're just more dominant this season, ranking wise as well. So the other one we talked about, Vista Grande. There's another win from a team, for example, who's ranked a little bit higher than they are, but I think Vista Grande is solid on that.
Mhm.
Arcadia obviously going. So I mean, you really look at these. It's Mingus Union, Micah Mountain. That's a solid squad there. Micah Mountain, Eastmark, solid squad. New coach, but still solid squad. I mentioned Gilbert. I mentioned Arcadia. Miss Vista Grande. I mean, they're all relevant. So I
Mhm.
Yeah.
mean, I know that Max Prep's got them at a 6-4. I just think they've lost so much that unfortunately they're going to come through at a 3-7. Sorry, Mesquite. Love you guys though.
Dang, man, you a
Oh,
hater.
Okay.
Hater.
no, I mean, I can actually see what Chris is talking about here.
Mhm.
The game against Gilbert, I do have them winning. I don't know if that's gonna pan out this year. They lost 24-17 last year. The game against Maricopa, with how good with what Maricopa has returning, could they possibly beat a team like Mesquite this year? And
Mhm.
if that's the case, that would put them at 3-7. For me, but I have them going 5-5, beating Mingus, Gilbert, Maricopa, Combs, and Desert Sunrise. I think even though they're losing a lot, Mesquite's always a team that can have a good return of players and be able to still be competitive. And I mean, I didn't think they were going to beat Vista Grande last year. Ended up beating them 26-6. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think they are kind of like my wild card in this region because
Agreed.
I don't know what to expect from them and what they have coming back.
Agreed completely.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, same thing with you. Beating Mingus Union, beating Maricopa, beating Combs. I have them. Well, you guys have them losing against Arcadia. Well, actually, no. I take that back. I have Arcadia going. No, I messed up.
Ah, this
Huh?
is all of a
Wait,
sudden starting to
look,
drop.
look. Wait, time out. Uh-oh.
This is what
Wait,
So,
happens
yeah,
when we jump in
so
and we
join the 5-5 club,
yeah,
Rodney.
listen. Okay, here we go. Reset. I have them going 5-5. Like Mr. Daniel. Now with that, I can agree with both you guys as far as they're losing a lot of guys from their quarterback PJ Jones to their top, leading running backs with Eric Rodriguez and then PJ Jones again. You got their three wide receivers gone. Their three linebackers or tacklers gone. So I'm gonna give a shout out to at least their third running back, Parker Kazmarek, who again is a 2026 5'11 running back out there. So I mean, you know what? I take that back. I can see them going between 3-7, 5-5. You know what? Let's meet in the middle. How about 4-6? Boom. Let's go.
well, you don't have
And
4 and 6, but
But I'm just saying, let's meet in the middle between
yeah,
Chris and us three, like Chris, Daniel, and me.
I think it's
Five
funny
and
y'all
five.
calling me crazy at the very beginning and start leaning my direction as you go through your conversation. That's pretty nice. I love it.
Listen,
but I think at the end of the day, they're just a competitive team, though. That's the
yeah.
Absolutely.
only thing that makes them where it's like 5-5 is like to me sometimes the worst that Mesquite can go because of just the competitive nature in that program.
Right.
So it's going to be one of those ones definitely that they're going to probably have a chip on their shoulder if they're going to watch this and say we're
Oh,
not a 3-7 or a 4-16.
Right.
Went 5-5 last year.
They're
So
probably gonna be annoyed that you said 5 and 5. But I'll
yeah,
say this,
probably.
like the one thing
yeah,
that I can agree with you, and you said it is like this could be that dark horse in the region that
yeah.
we're underestimating them and they're gonna come up and shock us. I don't
Mhm.
really see it coming from anybody like I don't see it from Desert Sunrise. I don't
No.
see it from, Combs being like too aggressively better. But
Mhm.
like the Vista Grande and Mesquite right there at the
But
you know
I think that loss or that win that they had against Vista Grande potentially is the reason Vista Grande didn't make the playoffs last year.
Yeah,
Mm,
I'm gonna probably agree
yeah.
with you on that one. And speaking of Vista Grande, who's got this one?
I'll take this last one.
Uh-oh.
So
Uh-oh.
Vista Grande, we have them ranked 85th. They're going to start things off both games at home. First one will be against Coconino, who's 64th. Pueblo, who is 126. Then they're going to be traveling to California to take on St. Joseph. Then at Prescott, who's 92. At
Mhm.
Desert Sunrise, who's 182. Back-to-back home games against Arizona College Prep, a Thursday night game, who's ranked 45th, against Rincon, who's 194. Then after the bye, they're at Mesquite, who's 75, home against Arcadia, who's 36, and finish up at Combs, who is 143.
Mm.
Max Preps has them going 5-4 in the state of Arizona, with the toss up against St. Joseph. Chris, you have them going 8-2. Rodney 7-3, and myself, I have them going 9-1.
Wow.
So who wants to kick this one off?
You know what? I'll kick it off, okay, real quick. They have a good quarterback, right? So they have a quarterback coming back who is, again, Brendan Hunt, who threw for a little over 1,300 yards. They have their top three running backs coming back, with one of them being the quarterback, but Fernando Moa, who's coming in at number one, who rushed for about 750 yards. And they have the number two is the quarterback. The number three is Tayon Green. Unfortunately, they are losing their top three wide receivers, but they do bring back on the defensive side their number one tackler in Jason Villegas, and hopefully I'll say that correct. Um, Again, I have them going 7-3, losing to Coconino, at Mesquite, and obviously Arcadia. Um, Again, I mean, the good thing is that they do have their quarterback coming back, which you guys already know about me. When you have a quarterback coming back, that gives you a chance. But I don't see anywhere else. Like, maybe they could pull out a win against Mesquite. Who knows? I mean, they did lose last year, to Mesquite, 26-6. Arcadia is going to go undefeated. Coconino is a very good program. So I also have them going 7-3. Daniel, you got them going 9-1. Let's save Chris for last. That middle guy, right? Dan, you got them going 9-1. So talk to us a little bit.
So for me, I mean, I think that the chips are all in for Vista Grande this year,
Okay.
with the experience on both sides of the ball.
Mm.
Brendan Hunt coming in at quarterback. You got to also look at the transfer Fatty Gant. Is he going to be playing this year? I know his focus is more so on baseball than it is football, but having him, he can be a utility guy, can go under center, kind of like what they had with Darnell Castro last year. Fernando Moya, the big thing for him is, can he stay healthy this year? He's had injuries the past 2 years that have kind of shortened his season, and he's the workhorse on that offense. They go to him quite a bit. Um, then you jump to the defensive side. I've already mentioned him, Atheon Arrow, a guy who's getting a lot of looks here in the state of Arizona as possibly one of the best defensive ends in the state. He only played 6 games last year and had 9 sacks. So, with him playing a full 10 games, the sky's the limit for that young man. And I think the reason I'm putting all my chips in with Vista Grande is because this is the make or break it one. After this, you got a lot of players leaving. Last year I challenged them to, it has to be games that you must win. They pretty much blew through the games that they were supposed to win, but when it came down to, teams like Arizona College Prep and Arcadia, they lost those games pretty decisively. And if you want to be considered one of the top teams, especially here in the 4A region, you have to beat those teams. So they have the personnel to do it. Now it's time to step up to the plate and try to challenge for this, because this team has still yet, with all the talent that they've had over the past couple of years, make the playoffs in their school history. So
Mm.
if they're going to do it, the time is now.
Well, I'm
You
going to
know what?
say this. I'm going to say this is that you better watch on one thing here. Is that first of all, we don't know about the St. Joseph, California one. Like always, I'll give them the win because
Mhm.
we're the home team. I want to go all Arizona. Let's
That's
go.
actually where I had their lone loss.
Right.
So just so
Right.
I
everybody
get
knows.
you. I get you. My thing here is that they have the second weakest schedule out of the region. The one thing that could hurt them is this: is if you get Arcadia, like I have them predicted right now, Arcadia and also AZ College Prep are my 2 losses for Vista Grande here. The thing that's hurting them is that they got Rincon on their schedule. I know, like that's probably not something that they wanted to have, but that strength of schedule of Rincon and playing that region pulls them down. So if they take the two losses coming in 8-2, just like even last year or whatnot, you could wind up being what actually holds them out from making it to the playoffs. Let's be honest. It's like if you go ahead and you beat all your other teams, like which you're predicted to do. Coco Nino could be an interesting one. Pueblo always plays them kind of difficult. At least we saw that last year, but I give them the win this year because it's at home. Um, and it's just a tough game. They didn't really score very much the last time we watched them. It was an ugly rainy day too, though.
Yeah.
But you got Prescott, that's right there at rank 92, right next to him. And there's a lot of things, even though there weren't close games last season. I think the two that you really got to kind of watch is that Arcadia game and also the AZ College Prep. Because the one thing I think that's really kind of weighing this schedule down, the strength of schedule, mind you, they're coming in second to the worst strength of schedule in this region, and we're not adding St. Joe's because we don't know their strength of schedule, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's because they have 194th ranked Rincon on their schedule. So that's where I'm really kind of, you guys got to do something. You know what I mean? Because that's what's hurting you. And I know that's probably might not be something that they ran out and tried to schedule, but it's unfortunate, but it's real.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
got a good point there.
No, and that's the thing that kind of plagued them last year was those two games. And kind of losing to Mesquite was the icing on the cake for him. But it's kind of like, I know, Coach Roberts out there, he has them guys always fired up every year. It's just now is the time to take that next step and be considered one of the top teams. You got to at least, I'd say, if they're going to make it, they have to beat Mesquite. And they have to at least split Arcadia and Arizona College Prep, preferably the team. You want to beat the team with the better record. But I think if they're going to split those games, they have to at least win one.
I agree with you too. Like it's all or nothing right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the chips are on the table. Go ahead, push them off. Let's go. I mean, I'm a fan of Vista Grandes. Love the coach. I love what's going on with the program completely. I think it's going the right direction, hands down. Don't even think that's a doubt at all. Let's see. And last thing that we're going to do is we're going to touch up on is going to be the results. Now I'll go back in and I'll actually update this to the right ones because obviously there was a couple of them that we kind of had blemished on, as well as Rodney's column here doesn't look very on point.
I was like, wait, what is it?
But
listen, I was busy. Listen.
I'll put the right one in, so while you guys are actually hearing this, you won't see what.
Listen, Chris. Listen, all I care about right now is this: Arcadia is coming in at number one. Everybody else, like if you're not first, you're last. So I'm gonna put in that right now for the region. Okay, I got Arcadia going number one. Everybody else, prove me wrong. Let's go.
That's just because you probably didn't want to do that. Gotcha.
For myself, I got Vista Grande taking the region this year, followed by Arcadia, Arizona College Prep at 3, Mesquite at 4, Combs at 5, and Desert Sunrise at 6.
Me, I got Arcadia coming in at number 1, AZ College Prep number 2, number 3 is going to be Vista Grande, number 4 Mesquite, number 5 is going to be Combs, number 6 is going to be Desert Sunrise. That's where I'm at. Other than that, guys, we made it, man. 11 regions, well over 50 some odd teams. I can't even think of how many there were. But we made this is the last one. Now we get to get into other kind of shows and stuff like that. I know, Daniel, you got your top 10 Tuesdays coming up.
Yes.
You got Rodney's getting ready for his Senior Bowl coming around too. He's going to also probably have a couple combines. Is that correct as well, Rodney?
Yeah, a couple combines come next year, probably in like February and March. But just like what you said, the biggest thing is this Game Time Senior Bowl, January 11th at Ottawa University. So, hey, listen, we might take some of the kids that Daniel does with the top 10 if they're seniors.
Okay.
Hey, you know what I mean? So we're excited. Hey, listen, registration. Okay, okay, we'll drop it. Boop, boop. Big alert, big alert, big alert. Registration is going is going to open up. Early registration September 1st to the 14th. Just put that out there. Look it. The world just heard it right now. Dot it. Let's go. So we're excited. Let's get it.
And I know that we're all going to be both out, or all three of us will be out there to a lot of games. I know, Daniel, you get to leave us for the Major League Baseball All-Star games, right?
Yeah. Well, I'll be doing the October to November. I'll be doing postseason baseball with Fox Sports. So don't get too. But I best believe I'm gonna be on NFHS. Checking out what's going on and staying. Kind of in touch with everything going on around the state of Arizona. But before then, I'll be helping Epic Sports Network broadcast their games on Thursday night. So make sure you tune in to CW7 to watch those games. I think we're kicking off Scottsdale Christian and Santan Charter, I think, is the first game on that one on this Thursday. And then Friday, we're going to be going down to Rodney's area as we'll be at Santan Foothills. They'll be taking on Dysart. That'll be our broadcast on the SoAZ VB network on YouTube. But just kind of touch on what you said, Chris, Top 10 Tuesdays. We're going to be doing top 10 plays around the state of Arizona. That's football and girls flag football. So it doesn't matter if you got a play, you think you can make that top 10, please send it in. Send it to our email, the varsity breakdown 21@gmail.com. Include your name, your school, graduation year, and your position. And like I said, let's see what some of these highlights are looking like across the state of Arizona. It's going to be fun.
Yes, go. Listen, we want some one-handed catch, some interceptions, some big hits. Some of those ooh-wee. I want some big hits. Okay, this is football, baby. Let's go. Showtime.
And lastly, the submission for those will be every Sunday at the end of the day. So if you don't have it in by Sunday, it won't be included for that week. So make sure you get them sent in because we got hoping to have a lot of plays to go through and create that list and send it out by the next Tuesday.
Let's go.
I might actually have to hop on in the car with you and go up there for that McClintock Cienega game. I think
let's go.
That's a Thursday.
There's
a couple up there that actually I was looking at some of these Thursday games. And I mean, guys, there's a lot of good football. We're getting excited. We know that the season's about to kick in. The 3A, 2As are going to kick off here on 0 week. We got this.
And matter of fact, what you want me to go through those real quick? ALA Ironwood at Morenci. Chris, you got them winning. I got them winning for ALA Ironwood. Rodney's taking Morenci. Coolidge at Sabino. I'm taking Coolidge. Rodney and Chris with Sabino. Chrisman at Ben Franklin. We're all three taking Ben Franklin on that one. Florence at Gilbert Christian. All in favor for Florence. Santan Foothills and Dysart. Chris taking Santan Foothills. Rodney and I taking Dysart.
About my region.
Push Ridge is going to be having a bye this week. Then we have Safford and Payson, all three of us in favor of Safford. Thatcher and hosting Paradise Honors. We're all in favor for Thatcher on that one. That's going to be a really good game. I'd say that's a game of the week candidate there. Then you got Arte Prep hosting Sequoia Pathway. We're going Arte Prep. Chandler Prep hosting Santa Cruz Valley.
He went Arte Prep? Rodney,
all three of us.
Listen, come on, bro.
I thought you would have been on the pain chain.
Not week one. But Chandler Prep hosting Santa Cruz Valley. We're all going with Santa Cruz Valley. Heritage Academy playing a Thursday game against NFL Yet. We got Heritage Academy, all of us. Then we move into we did Santan Charter and Sequoia Pathways to the 2A San Pedro. Benson at Shadow Mountain. We're all going Benson. Catalina at Highland Prep. All in favor for Highland Prep. Tancaverde hosting Phoenix Christian. We're all taking Tancaverde. And last but not least, Wilcox at Arizona Lutheran. And we're all going for Arizona Lutheran on that one.
Hey, I'll be there. Game time will be there.
Sorry.
At Arizona Lutheran on Friday.
Love you, Wilcox.
And that brings up the other thing, Chris. The polls are out. Go and vote for your
Oh,
team. Who you think's gonna win? You know,
It's
poll
funny
it out.
that I heard some polar opposites that you were just going through. Seeing some of the polls, they actually got some of these other teams actually winning. So really excited to see what happens. And we should actually do a show probably on like Thursday early, going over the poll picks as well as our picks and see how we line up.
mm.
And or afterwards, maybe like on a Saturday or something, we could go
Hey,
through and go.
Saturday morning, pancakes and pigskins. Let's go. Let's talk about it.
Pancake and pig. I'm done. I was like
Cooking at Rodney's house.
Yeah.
cooking at Rodney House. Pancakes and pigskin. Let's go.
Waffles and
That's
chicken.
funny. Like,
There we
whoa,
go. I
whoa.
like that too.
Yeah. What? I didn't say Kool-Aid. You're safe.
Okay. Whole chocolate.
We're all good. Anything
Oh
else,
man.
guys?
Hey, football's here, man. Like
I love
Rodney
it.
says.
I love
Let's
it.
go out. Thursday, Friday.
Good times, man. Good times.
Out there and support your teams, man.
Shit.
I can't.
All right, guys. We're out of here.
Later.
Later.